what looked like it was going to be a night to look back on with some pride and satisfaction now has turned next week's second leg into an entirely different proposition.
They'll know more about each other, and unfortunately United fans will know so much about this goalkeeper and his era pro, but he is finally poised now for what will be a brilliant second leg, you hope.
Next Thursday night at Old Trafford, they'll do battle again, all square. Almana's free kick in the first half, deceiving the goalkeeper. Euro getting his first goal for Manchester United just before half-time. Zirkzee with one near the end that looked like sealing it for United, but right at the end, Onana enters centre stage once more, and Ryan Cherki says merci mille fois. They are delighted with what they've seen, having come from behind, and will believe a first European victory over Manchester United is still possible. Final score in Lyon. Lyon 2, Manchester United 2.
Thanks, George and Gary on commentary. Well, drama in France. Lyon equalising on the 95th minute. Cherki with the difference there to go into that second tie, Richard, in a much better place than they were on the 88th minute when we saw United getting the lead.
Yeah, it looked like United had won it, and probably felt like they might have deserved to win the game. But all of a sudden, when Lyon needed it most, they came alive again, and I felt throughout the game they didn't really have the belief to go and take United on when United aren't as strong as they used to be, obviously. So I think both teams will feel it's a missed opportunity. I think both sides were there for the beating tonight, and a draw was probably a fair result in the end, but I think it'll be a really much improved game in the second leg. I think both sides will obviously know each other now inside out, and yeah, hopefully the quality goes up a little bit and we get more excitement.
Yeah, was a draw a fair result, Kenny?
Yeah, I think it was a fair result, but those Manchester United players won't be celebrating the draw, I can tell you that. Kind of disappointment. Look at Casemiro there, real disappointment etched on the faces of those United players. They'll be maybe disgusted is too strong a word, but it's not far off that they haven't been able to see that game out. Got themselves into a great position, fantastic second goal, great finish from Zirkzee. Fernandes, typical Fernandes, real mixed bag from him during the course of the evening, like it has been all season, but a real moment of magic in terms of the quality delivery for Zirkzee. And at that stage of the game, you have to see it out. They weren't able to do it. Give Lyon a little bit of credit. They picked themselves up and they drove forward, committed players into the box, and wouldn't say a little bit of luck. It was a great little drag back from Lacazette, shot on target. We'll speak about Onana again. And Cherki, who was pretty anonymous for most of the game, came up with a real moment of quality in terms of dinking it into the corner of the net. So yeah, frustration from both teams. Like I said, second half again the same. A lack of quality in the game overall. Lack of a cutting edge really from both teams. Some good individual performances in that United team. I think defensively the back three stood up really well for me. Euro and Mazraoui in particular can be really pleased with their performances. Huffed and puffed away through the game, both these teams. So I think overall 2-all the correct result. But for me, it's slight advantage to United going into the second leg.
What was your prediction ahead of the game?
A draw of some sort.
I had to let you say that again. You're delighted with that.
Yeah,
that's 2 from 2 now. You said Chelsea to win.
Every dog has his day. Every dog has his day, Aisling. But yeah, it was a strange game. I couldn't enjoy it at some point. I didn't enjoy it. I was getting frustrated. A lot of looseness in the passing during the court. A lot of frustration watching the game.
Kept breaking down. There was a couple of bits where I was going, right, this looks like a really good move, and it would get then to the forward players. I think Lacazette quite a few times just gave away silly passes that you would see in like youth football or something like that, where it's, I'll try this pass, but it was never on. And for the quality that the teams do have, they didn't show it enough tonight. I think there was too many small errors which sort of ruined any flow to the game.
Yeah, but I think that was but the reasons for that for United I think are more fundamental. We've spoken about them before. We're talking about lack of quality, a kind of final ball high up the pitch. So who are those United players high up the pitch? It's Højlund for a start. Another below par performance from him in terms of receiving the ball and linking up play, being that kind of pivot player high up the pitch. He's really struggling at the moment. Real kind of lack of confidence. big question marks about him going forward in the Manchester United jersey. And the support around him, Garnacho operating that number 10 role, again looks a little bit ill at ease, Aisling. Every time he gets himself into an orthodox wide area, he gets himself close to the touchline, he comes alive. He's happy. He gets himself in a 1v1 situation, he's grassing behind, he's happy. When he's got to come on the inside, things get a bit more congested. You know, there's a lot more responsibility in terms of his technique, his touch, his decision making. He's struggling a little bit. And that has to improve, because we're getting to the stage of the season now. Amarim's got some big decisions to make in terms of which players are staying and which players are going to get out the door and get money for. And Højlund and Garnacho, for me at the moment, are two big signings who are dicing with death.